Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Wannabe Author, the podcast that pulls back the curtain on the publishing world, traditional, self-publishing, and more. I'm your host, Christine, an author navigating the turns and plot twists of getting books into readers' hands. Here we get real about the wins, the rejections, and the lessons learned along the way. Whether you're chasing an agent, going self-published, or just curious how it all works, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Wannabe Author. Today's episode was super fun to film because for the first time on the podcast, not only do we have one guest author with us today, but two guest authors. I was super privileged to interview these co-authors, best known for their Supernatural meets Fern Gully series. The first two books in the series are out. First is Shot in the Dark, and then Hunted in the Shadows, and then they just recently released their horror romance Consumed. This episode was so intriguing because we got to see the inner workings of a co-authorship and the different skill sets these two authors bring to the table to just become this powerful author unit and creating these stories in these worlds, and how their individual skills just benefit them and help them get these books into readers' hands, and not only that, but enjoyable, beautiful works of literature that their readers can fall in love with. I truly loved this episode because these authors you can tell they just have so much love for the story. They both met through their love for stories, and it was fun hearing how their friendship and their connection with stories just grew into this long-lasting friendship that is full of creating and imagination. I enjoyed recording this episode so much, and I know that y'all will fall in love with these authors as much as I did. It is my absolute honor and privilege to introduce you all to authors Mary Dublin and Anne Kendsley. Mary, Anne, welcome to the Wannabe Author.
Hi, thanks so much for having us. We're thrilled to be here.
Of course. I'm thrilled to have you both here. This is such a fun moment here on the podcast because this is a first to have a dual authorship. So I'm just so excited to dive into you guys, your stories, your books. But before we get going, I always love to start off by asking my guests, what are you currently reading?
Ooh. Okay, so I'm reading Bitter Burn, which just came out. I'm like, totally, I will promote for her. It's by Simone. It is book 3 in the Lioness trilogy. And while we, so far in our works, write pretty low spice, I read everything. And so this one's insane, but I love it so much. It's very kinky, very fun. She's just such an amazing author, and she's definitely one that I aspire to be like.
Love.
Nice. Well,
Anne?
I'm reading 3 books right now. I'm listening to the audiobook of A Conjuring of Light. It's the 3rd book in the Darker Shade series. By
Yes.
V.E. Schwab. I'm also reading for a book club a book called Why Fish Don't Exist. It's a nonfiction book. And I'm also reading The Invocations by Krystal Sutherland. I think I'm saying her name right. Yeah, so a good mix in there.
Yeah.
I love this variety we got going on in 3 books. Go you. That's awesome.
We are definitely, I don't know if you've seen that meme that went around, but it's the speed reader versus the slow reader. And I'll be like, Anne, I finished this book. She's like, awesome. She's like, I just finished 5. But, no, she's an angel. But yeah, it's so funny. I'm much more of a slow mood reader, and Anne is a powerhouse and absolutely amazing.
I just always have an
Love that.
audiobook on, constantly
Yeah.
audiobook, walking, chores, everything.
I'm an audiobook girly too, so I get that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Love. Now let's get diving into y'all and your books. I always like to kind of start out with the origin story of how y'all got the idea for your books, but I'd love to kind of hear, how did y'all get started in working together and then writing this book and saying one day we're going to get this book published?
Well, it's funny because I feel like those two answers really go hand in hand. Because Anne and I both, even before we knew each other, we've always been, and now, we kind of know each other's story, but we've always been very creative people. And so we actually met on a writing forum. We are both looking for people to kind of like connect with to possibly like basically like kind of build a story together. And we were in high school, mind you. It was very much like, don't talk to strangers on the internet, and yet here we are, besties. I don't know what I would do without her. So I guess ignore that advice. I'm glad I did. So we connected. I just posted a prompt while I was in high school, and it was basically like Supernatural meets Fern Gully. The concept hadn't really like changed. I just watched Supernatural. I was still like a Tumblr girly, and I think we were just kind of like curious to explore that vibe, but like really just in our own way and have fun with it. And we connected. The writing chemistry was immediate from day one. Like, very, like, we were both, you could tell we were thinking through things very similarly, and that still hasn't changed to this day. Um, and yeah, I think as far as like getting it published in the beginning, we really were just writing it for ourselves. So for like we often will tell people like in our little Instagram captions, like we've been writing for 12 years, investing together. And we really have. So like from high school to now, like full adulthood, we have been writing these characters and like a whole scrap trilogy that never saw the light of day, like 100 or short stories. Um, and I think for a long time we were like, oh, this is like honestly so weird. No one's gonna want to read it. There's no point. Why waste our time? Like a lot of, and it was a few, oh gosh, it's kind of crazy to think. I think it was like 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
I remember where we were. We've been writing and writing all these short stories, and I turned to Anna and I go, "What if we changed this one thing in the story and like made some, this thing happen? I think it would be a lot more marketable, like to a bigger audience." And so we sat down. We outlined like very fast, like a rough outline of like 3 to 6 books. We weren't sure where it was going to land yet, and rewrote the first one in a matter of like 3 or 4 months, I think max. Yeah, and from there we were like, I think this has a chance. So we're so grateful that like the humble beginnings have like taken off the way that they have. It's crazy.
Oh, that is so, so cool. I love that. That's so fun. And yes, talk to strangers. I'm saying like that's you got to do it. Make your friends. I love it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, my next question, and I'd love for you both to I'd love to hear it individually and how you do it together. But my question is, how is your writing routine? Are you guys pantsers, plotters? Do you have a specific location you have to write in? And then how does it come together when you guys are creating the book?
You want to take
Sure.
this one, Anne?
Yeah, so as far as my personal like writing routine, um, I really love to write at home in my apartment, but I also love going to this specific coffee shop, and I feel like I can really sink in there when I'm writing. I get my little drink that I love, and I mean, together we are definitely plotters. And I think that's just the nature of like working with another person. It is important to see where it's going. It is really funny that when we first started writing together, it was full pantsing. I never really have thought about that until now because, like what I always do love to say is that when Mary and I started writing together, I feel like we didn't have an actual conversation. I think for like the
Yeah.
entirety of the first draft of Shot in the Dark, like we would like, little messages here and there, like, oh, like that was, you did a good job with this. I really love how the story's going. But as far as like really knowing each other, it was just pantsing a story until we reached the end. And yeah, so that was our writing routine at first. But now our routine is a lot more structured. We do outline together pretty extensively, and then we take turns writing a few pages at a time in drafting mode.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, how fun! How fun! Just like that. What is it? that working together, that's so fun. I don't know, I think I'm too hmm selfish. I don't know what the word is. I think um I just it's very cool to see this collaborative mindset you guys have going on and being able to put together a fantastic story, and it makes sense how you said you have to be plotters, but I love that it did start out as pantsing. That's so fun.
Yeah, and I think with the pantsing, I think that's how we kind of reached this one brain cell kind of level. We've achieved symbiosis here. So
Yeah.
now, we can, plot together and we're constantly on the same page with things.
Yeah. And I think, I've had a few other authors kind of like slide into our DM sometimes, and like it's a very like we get that question a lot.
Mhm.
And the biggest thing I would always say to people too is like, you kind of an important thing is like chemistry. Just like any relationship, but it's like when you're writing with someone, like it is almost like a very intimate thing, like because you're like sharing a story and building that world together. And so I think that's something you can't manufacture, and I just always feel so lucky that we have that chemistry and that single brain cell that we it's so rare. People will ask us like, do you guys argue about plot points? And I'm like, not really, no. Like, I mean, there'll be sometimes where the biggest thing I think is in editing will be like, hey, like I feel like this isn't working. What should we do? What do you think?
Mhm.
But it's really more collaboration than like being torn and how to do things.
Right. It's not really disagreements. I think we both trust each other enough where like if one of us feels strongly about something, it's very easy to just work with that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, all right. I'd love for you to tell the listeners about your journey to publication and what was the most surprising aspect of the journey.
Um, so basically, I would say like, so when we first looked at self-publishing, we really just, again, going back to like high school, we first dabbled with that because we just wanted to hold it in our hands. Like we were like, look at all this shit we wrote. Like, I don't know if I can curse on here, but I was like,
Oh,
look at all
you're
this, stuff we wrote, and I was like, it would be fun to hold it, like a real book. And then like I kind of, fast forward to 2024 when we released for real. I think the marketing was the biggest thing. I have a background in social media management and like marketing and stuff. So, like I've done it for education and for small businesses. But I think the thing that was surprising for me was very, very quickly realizing that you need to be you are your own marketing team, and that book marketing is so different from other realms that I've done it for. Because it's you're not just selling like a product, like you're selling like an experience and an emotion. You're selling yourself too, like if I'm like a mean person, people are gonna want to come and buy books from me, right? It's like so it's interesting how like all of that plays together. So that was I think surprising, but luckily I did have like my background to fall back on, so I feel like most days it doesn't burn me out too much. And I think too realizing like so many of the things we feel like imposter syndrome are like so normal. I think when you have a network of other colleagues and really nice readers that you can rely on, you realize how even like and thank you to like the transparency of some of these authors is like some New York Times bestsellers who are like, yeah, I too will look at a draft and be like, I forgot how to write a book. So it's like it's very nice to like realize that there's not like a certain point of like you made it and your brain chemistry changes. It's like you really just need that like perseverance and like that drive. Because otherwise it is like a marathon and not a sprint, as I always say.
Mhm.
Love that. Okay. Now, when you guys were just wannabe authors, figuring out how your book was going to work, how you guys were going to work together, what is something you wish someone would have told you both or even individually to help you carry on?
Ooh, I love that. I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of something that Mary said, like the idea that even New York Times best-selling authors, they feel like, oh, I forgot how to write a book. That's something I would tell my younger self, my, wannabe self, and should tell myself right now. It we pick up skills along the way. We learn, how to structure things and pick up, different phrases we like using with writing. But because we're constantly trying to better ourselves, we never feel like, okay, I've achieved writing, I have achieved, authorship, I have achieved like the highest level that I'm going to get. And so because of that, we fall in that imposter syndrome. So I would tell that wannabe author to just relax. It's just because you're stuck at a certain part, that doesn't mean you forgot how to write. That means that you're in a period of growth and that, you want to challenge yourself. So that's what I would say.
I'm taking that advice from you now too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I think, gosh, there's so many like mistakes we've made along the way. Um, I guess this is like more I do like a lot of like like marketing and stuff, so that's always like on the brain. I think something I wish someone had told me was you can start marketing the book even before it's like like it's done drafting, depending on how you want to go about it as far as secrecy. But for a long time I was like I waited so long to market Shot in the Dark, and it took me like a while to find my footing. And I wish I had started like way earlier. Like, I think one thing I laugh and like, I mean, we all learn in this industry. That's the thing is like I started like kind of coaching a few debuts too here and there. Because my DMs are always open. I'm happy to like, just chat because I don't want anyone to ever feel like they're isolated in this. Because it is a lot to learn. But yeah, like some mistakes I made, like when we first published, I had barely been on Book Talk. Like, I knew it was there, I wasn't on it. Like, and so we literally like a year, barely a year before publication, started an author Instagram. Like, started like really diving deeper into like, even though we were avid readers, we weren't like really as present online with that. So that was like a very, very steep learning curve, and that realizing not only connecting to people and networking, but also like building our presence and making like, hello, we're here.
Mhm.
So I think if I wish people had told me like it's never too early, basically. Like if you're serious and this is a dream on your heart, like social media is free. Go just share your story, like your personal story as well as like, your journey towards publication. Because it makes it a lot easier than trying to hit the ground running in a few months like we did.
Mhm.
Love. I think that's great advice, especially for this day and age of social media has been such a big thing, and I think it's a great advice for a lot of debuts because I'm in a couple writing groups where I do talk with a lot of debuts, and a lot of them are like, when do I start? When do I start? And so I think that was a great thing to say, like, just start sharing your story. I love that.
I wish I had earlier because it would have made it a lot easier. But hey, we climbed the mountain. We're here. But
You
yeah,
did it.
I definitely would give that advice based on my experience.
Mhm.
Love. Thank you both for sharing. Now I've got one more what is it? Deep inspirational one. But have you ever thought about giving up? And if so, what kept you going?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like something I realize now we're not alone in is that this industry is a roller coaster. And so like there'll be days where you have highs. Like we realized we sold like over 8,000 copies, which like our original goal, which is like I'm not bragging, but like
No,
there's
yeah.
data about like trad published like sellers, and like that's like way more than most like would sell in their first year. And like I think that was like a huge high when I kind of sat there with that information. I was like, oh my gosh, that's we did it. Like we thought we were gonna sell like 200 max. Like this is insane. I'm so grateful. But then there are lows where all of a sudden all of that seems to stop, and you're like, or you get a bad review, and you're like, oh, I'm actually horrible. No, like this is crap. Like this is all a mistake, or stuff like that. I will say, I think like first and foremost, my beautiful co-author and friend, like my partner in crime. One of the beautiful things that I'm just so spoiled and grateful for is that we are truly each other's cheerleaders. Um, Even throughout writing the book, even if I'm right drafting and I'm like, sorry, this is crap. She's like, no, it's amazing, you know, and vice versa. She's like, I feel like I'm like losing it. And I'm like, no, I loved it. I'm frothing at the mouth, you know? So we have that like, we lift each other up constantly. And I always have her to pull me out when I'm feeling down. But then I would also say, and I guess it's cliche, but it's so true, is like the readers. Like I think so, like it's so often like even me as a reader myself, I'd be like if I told Sierra Simone like, "Hey, I loved your book," like, you know, she has so many readers, but it's like you never know like how that can lift an author up when they're having a bad day. Like just a kind review or like we've had readers who like made us fan art that kept us. I think that really got me. It anytime someone sends us fan art, it's happened like 4 or 5 times now. I get tears in my eyes because I think that's truly like a level of like care, and I'm like, okay, even if it's just for like these 5 people, we're gonna finish the series, you know?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
I agree. I agree. And yes, 100%. My best friend Mary, she's the reason I keep going. And definitely the readers too. I mean, we try not to look at reviews too often. I've gotten a little bit better at that, but once in a while, I'm curious. I am very curious. I'm curious by nature. What can I say? And so yeah, no, seeing a low review, I think what I have gotten better at is not taking it personally because I mean, it is what it is. People have different ways of ranking things, but it doesn't feel great either. I'm not gonna like, lie and say it doesn't affect me at all. But, then seeing a sweet review, it just, it drives me to want to do more. And yeah, and something that brings me a lot of comfort is that even if we weren't publishing, I don't think writing is ever going to go away from me, regardless of whether we're publishing or not. It's something I genuinely love to do. It's something that brings me a lot of joy. So, with that in mind, it's not an all or nothing of, oh, if we stop publishing, suddenly all my creativity is gone. It's just, it's, it's the difference of sharing it or not. So it's still there, and there's a lot of comfort in that.
Love. I love everything you both had to say, and I think it's very. I love that you bring the readers into it, and I think that's a big pro and sometimes a con. But in self-publishing, is you get so. I feel like you get very intimate with the readers because you are the marketing team. You are this. You were the whole publishing team, and so you get really in there with the readers. And so I think that's such a great point to put that, yes, while like the reviews can be hard, like you can't deny that. I think it's like the inspiration you find from readers sending art and their kind words. Like I think that's always such a big thing to point out is like how much the readers have an effect on authors in a good way,
Mhm.
in a positive way. So,
Yes.
love.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so this is the second season of the Wannabe Author, and yeah. And this season I've been trying to focus a lot on connection, conversation, networking. And so I've been asking everybody, what is one conversation or exchange in your life or during this journey of publication that has stuck with you? And it could be advice, kind words, or harsh criticism that helped you learn a lesson. I just love to hear just your takeaway on any conversation of that.
Gosh, I'm so blessed that like I have so many peers that I value as like friends and like mentors. A couple I will shout out would be Sheila Masterson, Bea Nortwick. We've had great conversations. Um, I know I'm missing people as well, but those two we definitely have been like very helpful. And Victoria K. Taylor as well. I think that was very memorable. So Victoria drove down to be with me at our release for Hunted in the Shadows, which is book 2, which came out in May. So she drove down and we had a drink and stuff. And I think we had a conversation about framing success. And I think that really stuck with me because there's so often, I think sometimes going back to social media, like we can't escape it, right? Love it or hate it. Like I think it's a mixed bag for most people, including me. Um, and so we had kind of a conversation, a bit basically saying like, there's sometimes you look up to someone, you're like, oh my gosh, they're doing amazing. I'm never going to be as good as them. And she was like, actually, like sometimes things aren't always like sometimes it's smoke and mirrors, you know. And so I think it's basically like what I took from that conversation was a lot of comfort. Like she was just such a amazing conversation partner too, and so down to earth. But I think weirdly, just something the way that conversation clicked to have me stop being so hard on myself. Like we never see the full picture. Some people do not even share all their wins as they come. Some people, share seem to share a lot of wins, but like it's the comparison game basically is like so crazy. So I think that conversation really stuck with me. Which yeah, so grateful for her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, honestly, it probably comes from a random like X post or Tumblr post, but I was, I recall fairly recently reading about like as far as the writing part of advice goes, that especially right now with the rapid growth of books again. The past few years we've seen just such a massive growth in the publishing industry, and as well as the focus on tropes, and that there's often, this there's a bigger focus on the tropes rather than the plot itself. And so an advice that has stuck with me lately is like, yes, when you're marketing, you want to, be able to explain what the tropes are, but when you're actually writing the book itself, focus on the love and the passion you have for the story before the tropes themselves, because readers can tell the difference. And also, I think personally, I have less fun if I'm just trying to write to a specific trope. Start with the love, and then revise and edit from there to try to tweak it to where more people can enjoy it. But first and foremost, writing should come from a place of passion. If that's what you're looking for, if you're looking to have fun with your writing, it should start from a place of love and passion, and then revising, editing, goes from there, goes in different directions. Yeah, that's an advice that has stuck with me lately.
Oh, and forget what her name is. You reminded me for some reason, Anne. I feel so bad. I'm forgetting the author's name. I know as soon as I look it up, I'm gonna remember. But the author of The Rose Bargain, something she put as her like big advice, which honestly, as we're drafting two books at once right now, with side projects, it has been so helpful to get me out of like the writing block hole. She was like, you need to get comfortable with your first draft being bad,
Hmm.
and then know that the magic comes in editing. I feel like that's almost verbatim what she said, and I it's like a mantra in my head now. And it really has like loosened that vice grip of like whatever I put to page has to be perfect. Um, and kind of being like, no one has to read your first draft,
Hmm.
and just know the magic will come, and like, there's more to come. But yeah.
I love that.
Love, love that. You both of you, those were fantastic answers. And I am taking writing on the whole, wow, taking notes on the first draft. Because
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to sit there and look at it and be like, oh, people are going to read that, but you're right. Nobody's going to read that. You get to put the magic in the editing. Okay. Now, outside of being authors, what is a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Ooh.
I'm an open book. I don't know. I know, I'm like, it's a really good question. I just like I feel like I overshare constantly, so
I will share for you
oh,
a fun fact
yes.
about
Oh my
Anne.
gosh, yes.
Yeah,
Please.
I'm gonna reach in and share for you. Anne is an amazing baker.
Oh.
Um, yeah, and I can say personally, like she lights up the room every time she brings in like her little goodies. She's incredible. She makes like pumpkin swirl brownies. They're like picture perfect. So like if yeah, like she could be a baker in another life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think for me, my go-to fun fact is I used to work at Disney for 6 years, and I was Alice in Wonderland, which was a lot of fun. Like it feels like forever ago now, but I think I had so much fun doing that, and I ended up doing a lot of storytelling, talking to kids and guests from all over the world. It was a really cool. I have so many stories from that job, but that's my fun fact.
Yes. Well, speaking of theme parks, I think something that I can share for both of us, though we probably don't share very often. I think we're both adrenaline junkies. We both love roller coasters and crazy
Yeah.
rides. And it's even better when we're together because like we know that like we're both down for like most things.
Yes, I want to be scared.
Yes.
I think we should all go to an amusement park together because I think we'd have a lot of fun.
I
Oh my
Rich
gosh, some
loves
of the
roller
best
coasters. I
ideas
love
come,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
I think some of the best ideas come from like standing in queue as well for like a
Yes.
ride or something, and you're like, what if we did this? And then bam, like a
Mhm.
whole new like tertiary plot is pulled
The
in.
amount of like plot points that have probably come from standing in line at like Halloween Horror Nights or
Yeah,
um, any roller coaster, yeah, that's wild. We need to start keeping track of that.
yeah. I need the data.
I love that. And Halloween Horror Nights, I think I actually just saw your story. Did you
Yes, yeah,
go?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Love. That's one of my favorites.
So fun.
Okay. Now, what is your favorite tropes to read or write in?
Oh man. I mean, I love a found family so much that when it's done well and it's done with so much heart and so much angst too. I love an enemies to friends in the found family. That always brings me so much joy. I just love a ragtag group of people coming together. Brings me a lot of happiness.
Yes. I obviously, yes, found family. Because that's like a huge, it's funny because I feel like we're advertising our books, be like, yes, like we happen to know a really great found family book, it's ours. Um, but for me, I'll say Forbidden Love is like always top tier. Like I love enemies to lovers, don't get me wrong, but even if it's not, if it's forbidden, if there's yearning, if it's slow burn, if it's like a star-crossed lovers or like almost unrequited love, like I want it to be so painful for them to get together, but so worth it in the end. And every little brush counts, and like yeah, I just love when they have to fight so hard, like Elizabeth Swann and Will Turner kissing on the storm, like levels, like that level of yearning, that's my vibe. I love that.
You're speaking my language. Oh my gosh. And that is such the found family enemies to friends trope. That's such an underrated one
Hmm.
that I forgot about until you said it, and I'm like, yes,
Mhm.
yes, I love that.
Yes. I mean,
It's funny
it gives me
because
vibes of like Zuko coming to join like the gang in
Yes.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like it's so awkward and it's hilarious, but like they're all friends now.
yeah.
Yes.
So cute. Like he tried to kill them. It's great.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, I think I could nerd out with you guys forever on like these different shows and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes. These are all my favorites. Okay, I
So
love it. All
good.
right. What is next for y'all? Any teasers on future
Oh my
projects,
gosh.
or if you want to shout out any future events coming up for the listeners?
Yeah, so next for us, as far as like events, we'll be at Romantasy Book Con in Orlando, October 23rd through 25th. And then also Romantasy Book Con LA in February of 2026. And we have a few more events in 2026 that have yet to be announced formally. As far as writing goes, so we have books one and two in our Supernatural Meets Fern Gully series out now, and book three is coming early 2026. We're still like finishing drafting it, so TBD, but it should be before May. So hopefully the wait that you're seeing on the pre-order page will be even less. Fingers crossed. And then we are working on a project that will be submitted out. So we got an agent, which is like crazy. Um, and so this is our first time like working with our agent on a manuscript that's going to be like more formally submitted out to publishing houses. And hopefully it finds a home. Like it's a project that we are so excited about. like absolutely foaming at the mouth. Like the amount of strength it takes not to tell you guys the whole plot every day is crazy. And I think it also reflects a bit of our maturation and like our experience writing and figuring out this industry over the last few years. Like it feels a lot more put together, a lot easier than in the beginning when we were first pulling together old projects. So all I can say as far as a teaser, we've promised to be secret until a few more pieces come into play, but I hope you like vampires and people who are both like equally messed up.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for y'all. That you guys have such big things happening. I am so excited to see where this journey takes y'all. It has been such an honor getting to know y'all a little bit. I mean, just getting to know just the surface level of your writing, how you work. You truly seem like such a powerhouse of a authorship, and just hearing your love for the story, I know that y'all are going to create even more stories that are going to just capture your readers, and I am so excited to just see y'all take off. So thank you so much for joining me today. This has been so fantastic.
Thank
Yeah,
you for
thank
having
you.
us.
Oh my gosh. I appreciate it.
Of course. I'm going to go ahead and close out with the listeners, but I'd love for y'all to stick around for a minute afterwards.
Okay.
Thank y'all for listening. We will see y'all next Thursday. Bye.